Have you ever stopped to think about how powerful the Straw Hats will be by the end of the story? Luffy is only 19 years old and already one of the strongest people in the entire world. So how powerful will he become by the end of the series, after going through all the necessary conflicts to become the Pirate King? Let's dive in, and I'll show you exactly how the Straw Hats will evolve until the end of One Piece and how powerful they'll become. There are new transformations, new fruits, and new powers that will give the Straw Hats incredible abilities, capable of going head to head with admirals or even Yonkos. Chopper, our little reindeer, has proven to be very useful, not only in medical practices but also in combat strength. Although he appeared more as a doctor in the Wano Country arc, Chopper has already accomplished incredible feats for a small reindeer. In his monster point form, Chopper was able to endure for a few minutes against two Yonko commanders, Perospero and Queen. But how did Chopper manage this? Simple, with drugs. Chopper is an admitted drug user, always taking highly questionable pills to make himself even stronger. He, along with Caesar Clown, developed a pill that can keep Chopper in his monster point form for a longer period. Personally, I don't believe that Chopper will increase his power through physical training, since his main adversary will be Doc Q, the man responsible for creating all kinds of diseases with the powers of his Akuma no Mi. Therefore, I believe that by the end of the series, Chopper will be more refined as a doctor, rather than focusing on improving as a fighter. At most, he will likely receive a power boost with a new drug, capable of further strengthening his monster point form or even eliminating the side effects it causes to his body. Yes, if we look at Usopp, what does he still have to improve? Maybe you answered everything, right? Well, if we analyze the skills Usopp already has, he's at a very good level. He has one of the best marksman skills in the world, experience in battles in the New World, and is an excellent strategist, as we saw when he clashed with Luffy during their battle. But there's one thing he still needs to improve: his observation haki. He only showed this ability once in Dressrosa and hasn't used it since. This technique would be incredibly useful for someone like him. As an example, we have Usopp, Usopp's father. It's said that he's able to hit an ant's antenna without damaging it from 30 meters away. He can definitely only do something like that with his observation haki, which leads us to believe that by the end of the series, Usopp will refine his haki to the point of performing incredible feats like his father. But there's also something else he will develop in the future: advanced observation haki. It's said that Usopp possesses an observation haki that supposedly surpasses Charlotte Katakuri's, allowing him to see a few seconds into the future. So since his own father is capable of doing something like this, it's obvious that Usopp will reach at least that level of haki by the end of the series. In other words, Usopp with haki, shooting everywhere and predicting the future, is already a reality. Franky. When we look at Franky's evolution during the time skip, we can notice that he had a significant improvement in his weapons. He gained more density, enhanced his firearms, and most importantly, became capable of changing his hairstyle, which is the most important thing of all. The thing is, now that Vegapunk is on the Straw Hat side, Franky will definitely start bothering the old man as soon as they leave Egghead. I'm sure Franky and Vegapunk will work together to further improve Franky's capabilities, but what will they build for our super carpenter? Well, when we look at Franky's final enemy, the most viable option that comes to mind is San Juan Wolf, the giant from the Blackbeard Pirates. And you're thinking what I'm thinking, right? That's right, a Franky Megazord will be created by him and Vegapunk. This huge Megazord, Franky Shogun, will be as big as Wolf and will feature the first colossal battle of over 300 meters in One Piece. Nami already possesses powers that go far beyond what we could imagine some time ago. In addition to having control, knowledge, and manipulation of the weather, she also has a calamity in the form of a cloud named Zeus. Zeus was one of the forces that made Big Mom one of the most powerful beings in the world. He can move at nearly lightning speed to attack enemies, just like he did against the supernovas. Nami literally commands him and can do everything Mama did when she had Zeus in her possession. So thinking this way, can you imagine Nami becoming even more powerful by the end of the series? Well, in Nami's case, I see only two plausible options for her future. The first is a future where she simply improves all of her skills, as well as having greater control over Zeus. But there's a second, much bolder hypothesis. What if Nami ate the Goru Goru no Mi after a possible death of Enel? Oda himself has already said that the ideal fruit for Nami would be the lightning fruit, where she would become the queen of time. And what if Oda gets really excited about this idea and turns her into a true goddess of time? Man, Nami would definitely be on the level of the monster trio, if not superior to them. Brook. Brook currently has two powers, his swordsmanship techniques and the ability to separate his soul from his body to wander around as a ghost. But the thing is, Brook hasn't awakened his devil fruit yet. He has a paramecia fruit which, when awakened, can impact the environment around him. For example, in Doflamingo's case, he can only create threads from his own body, but when he awakens, he becomes capable of producing threads from any object around him. In Brook's case, he uses his resurrection ability to wander around with his soul. But if he awakens, could Brook enter a person's body with his soul? Imagine him entering a person's body, a corpse, or even a building. I'd personally find it amazing if he entered Onegashima's skull and controlled the whole island. The thing is, that would be pretty overpowered. But if I had to guess a possible power boost for Brook, I believe he would have this kind of awakening for his fruit. Nico Robin. As for Robin, she has always been seen more as a threat to the government because of her knowledge rather than her strength. And to be honest, I think that will remain the same until the end of the series. Not that she won't gain a power boost by the end of the story, but I don't believe she will see her power elevated in a way similar to Brook, Nami, or Usopp. Because of that, I think that by the end of the series, she will focus on refining her strengths and eliminating her weaknesses. For example, she could improve her demon form to have better control over that transformation. She could also increase the number of clones and arms she can produce. In exchange, she could reduce her weaknesses, like the exhaustion after using her demon form, and also improve her stamina so she can spend more time using her devil fruit powers. Sanji. For me, Sanji is the character who will have the biggest strength upgrade by the end of the series. I don't want to give the impression that I'm too much of a Sanji manic or a fanboy, but I truly believe that Sanji will be the second strongest member of the crew, alongside Zoro, if not, maybe even surpassing the swordsman. And there are two reasons for this. First, his Conqueror's Haki, which will be awakened. Recently, in the cover of chapter 1081, there's an interesting scene. Oda shows the Straw Hat Pirates sleeping, but the cook is reading a book written cocking, which means cooking. However, this word is wrong because cooking in English has two O's. Cocking is a reference to Conqueror's Haki, because in English it's common to abbreviate Sioki, meaning color of conqueror. In other words, Conqueror's Haki. Oda often uses the chapter covers to give us hints about what's to come, and it makes total sense for Sanji to have this power, especially since Zoro has it too. In addition to awakening Conqueror's Haki, Sanji will have full control over his lineage factor. Sanji is simply a superhuman. In fact, he already was, but now his body can't even be studied as a human anymore. Thanks to his awakened lineage factor, he has resistance and physical strength far beyond anything we've seen in beings of Sanji's size. He easily has superior endurance compared to someone like Jinbe. When Sanji masters his Conqueror's Haki and his lineage factor, believe me, he will become a monster. Jinbe. Jinbe is a character I believe has already reached his peak power. He's over 40 years old, lived his life as a pirate, and is unlikely to get much stronger. However, there is one ability that I think will give his powers a boost, making him even more powerful. Advanced Armament Haki. With this, he will be able to attack enemies without needing physical contact. The worst part is that if we look at his battle against Who's Who, we'll notice that Jinbe defeats his opponent with a move similar to an advanced armament Haki attack. The thing is, that wasn't Haki, it was a fishman karate technique. Now, if he was able to do that without even using advanced armament Haki, imagine what he could do with that ability imbued in his fist. Zoro. Just like Sanji, Zoro also has a lot to improve. Do you remember the moment when Zoro says he will become the king of hell so that Luffy can become the pirate king? Well, I truly believe Oda is going to take that title literally. As soon as he defeated King, an enigmatic Reaper appeared and took Zoro away, leaving him unconscious for a long time. I believe this Reaper is connected to the sword Enma. This sword holds numerous mysteries and connections to the underworld. In the battle against King, Zoro had many difficulties handling this sword because it was draining his own Haki. To be able to use it, Zoro had to find a balance in his haki to make handling the sword possible. Once he learned this, he was able to tame Enma, leading to King's defeat, and later, the Reaper coming to meet him. Zoro often mentions how incredible Odin was for controlling this sword perfectly. That's why I believe there's still a lot Zoro has to go through to completely master Enma. And when he truly masters it, believe me, all these mysteries surrounding the underworld will come to light, making Zoro, the King of Hell, stronger than ever. Luffy. Looking at Luffy's current power level, it's hard to imagine him receiving another combat power boost. But people often mention a possible 6th gear, saying it will be Luffy's final form. In my opinion, there are two paths for Luffy. Either he just gets stronger as he improves his 5th gear, or he truly reaches the 6th gear and becomes a total anomaly. Many believe his 5th gear is his hybrid form, while the true full form of Nika has yet to be shown. So far there's no indication of that, but trust me, either Luffy still has a complete Nika form to show us, or he'll just get more powerful with haki improvements and the enhancement of his 5th gear. But there's something you don't realize. By the end of your own journey, you'll be much stronger too. But you'll be powerful in the knowledge of this rich world of One Piece. And to stay on top of everything that happens in this wonderful world, all you have to do is one thing: subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. That's how YouTube will always recommend one of my videos on your timeline. If it's of interest to you, just click and I'm sure you'll like it. Anyway, I really appreciate everything. Big hug and see you next time.